Hello and welcome to Free Will Investing. Today we're going to be going over whether or not Nvidia is a good choice for 2019. Now I'm not really too 100% sure, but I do not think it is going to be that good of a year for Nvidia in 2019. I do, however, believe that Nvidia eventually, before the third quarter or around the third quarter, is going to hit a bottom. Now we could see that Nvidia had a huge trend here. Very large trend. A lot of profitable traders made a lot of good money on here. From 2017, it went from 120 all the way to 291. And then, boom, we got this crash. Now it's fallen all the way down to, this is the new support line at 126. The resistance line is going to be here at 174. Now, it all depends on how this first quarter goes, but right now it's not really looking too good for Nvidia. Nvidia is really not looking too good at the moment for their trading, because for one thing they haven't been selling as much because of the fall of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency was the driving factor behind Nvidia. Because of all the data mining, it required Nvidia. Nvidia had the best cards, they had the best processors for getting the most out of mining rigs. But now that the Bitcoin has collapsed, and Bitcoin is not really looking so good for 2019 as well, although some other cryptocurrencies might come into play and they might come to a factor, but this probably won't be until the end of the third quarter of third quarter of 2019, because there are a lot of good white papers coming out for different altcoins, such as Ethereum. Then there's Dent. Then there's Wager. There's a whole bunch of them. There's a long list. But there's a whole bunch of good white papers out there. So Nvidia might be driven up by that. But not only that, but Tesla has a big interest in Nvidia because they use their processors for the automatic driving. So Nvidia is a safe bet for the long term. Like, Nvidia is probably good right now. Even if you trade it right now, if you were holding on to it for 10 years, yeah, it's gonna make a return. You're gonna get a good investment out of it. Right now, the market cap's at 100 billion. It's probably gonna go up, probably a lot more within the next 10 years, maybe all the way up to a trillion. Especially if automatic driving takes a huge leap. But right now for 2019, I don't think it's quite hit the bottom yet. I don't think it's going to hit the bottom until around the third quarter, and then that's when it's going to start coming up. I'm thinking maybe about 100, maybe 80, somewhere in that range. Maybe even a little bit lower. But I don't think it's going to go too much lower than 80 before having a good comeback, and then it might be going sideways for a little bit after that. But I do think we're going to get back up to the 300 level by 2020. In 2020, I think we might even be past the 300 level by 2020. I think Tesla is going to drive them forward, and not only that, but I think as their processors become more and more commonplace and their mass production gets more online, that they're going to be used in more gaming computers as well. And I'm pretty sure the console war is going to start leaning towards computers as the higher end processors become more and more affordable and more capable of supporting 4K resolution with a lower upfront cost. Especially now that 3D gaming and virtual reality gaming is starting to become more mainstream and more commonplace. I think more and more people are going to be looking at CPUs rather than at consoles for their gaming needs, and I think Nvidia is going to take a large chunk of that business. I think their processors are better than AMD and Intel at the moment, and I think they're going to have a huge processing war, but I think Nvidia is going to be the one to win out. So I think for 2019, like I said, I don't think they've reached a low. But regardless, if you're playing for a long-term hold, I don't think you could go wrong with Nvidia. I think Nvidia is perfect for a long-term hold if you're going to be waiting years. And right now, it's pretty close to I think the lowest it's going to get. It might, like I said, it might drop down to 80. I'm thinking more along the lines of 100, and I think it might range for a while, and then probably come up to like 200 and bounce back and forth for a little while in between the first and third quarter. After that, I think it's gonna start skyrocketing up and towards 2020. And that's my price prediction for Nvidia. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe and check out my other videos.